This is Bionic Commando for the Nintendo Entertainment System. One of the first games I started playing when I was a wee young spud at 1 year old. This game, along with the timeless classic mushroom trip Super Mario Bros., started me down the path of unrelenting video game addiction I still struggle to control to this day. It's a short but action-packed home console title that helped spawn a sequel and a couple remakes spanning to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. With an innovative method of platforming, dialogue with character portraits, cutscenes, and even loadout selection, this game has left me with memories that will last a lifetime. I'm truly honored to share my take on this retro classic with you. Here's what you need to know about Bionic Commando. Oh, and before we start, spoiler alert! I'll be reviewing the whole story, so don't say I didn't warn you. The year is 1980X? The Federation has found the bad's top secret document for something called Albatross, which was never put into practice. Generalissimo Kilt of the Imperial Force has seen the plan and has decided to execute the plan himself. The Federation tried to stop his attempt by sending their hero Super Joe, but they lost contact with him. One brave man was sent with a special mission to rescue Super Joe. Developed by Capcom in the late 80s, Bionic Commando features unique side-scrolling platforming and an overhead run-and-gun style of gameplay. You take control of Lad, an angry-looking Federation commando with a serious case of bedhead and a weird jumping impediment. Wait, what? What kind of Spec Ops commando can't jump? Only the Federation's finest backup, that's who. Well, luckily he's compensated with a badass grapple arm. That's where this game sets itself apart from other traditional platformers. The only way to complete each stage is to grapple, climb, and swing your way around with your bionic arm, which makes traversal a little tricky, to say the least. Sometimes the smallest gaps can be annoying to cross. Like, really? You can't get over there? Just do a little bunny hop. Okay, fine. I'll go around then. Not only does your arm help with getting around, it's also great for fending off enemies and collecting out-of-reach items. Want to grab that care package in the air? Go gadget arm. Too lazy to walk 5 steps over there to get that bullet? Go gadget grabber. Got a crazy knife-wielding guy running at you in a blind rage? Go gadget ball basher. Yeah! Bash him in the beanbag to show him who's boss. For the most part, the platforming is actually pretty solid and fun. Get used to it, you're going to be doing a lot of it. You've got 12 stages to choose from, and the game isn't entirely linear either. Most of the levels are available right from the get-go, so you can choose your own path of destruction. Just pick a spot to transfer to, descend, and pick your loadout. Be careful about where you travel, though. There's a bunch of green enemy trucks traveling around the map, and if you're intercepted by one, you're inexplicably stopped and brought to the ground for a short battle. Aren't you in a helicopter, though? Since when do trucks block helicopters? Maybe there's some kind of experimental flying trucks. Or maybe your helicopter is one of those vintage crappy ones that can't actually get off the ground. Oh, I got it. The trucks have a massive magnet on them, and they suck the helicopter down to the ground. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, it's not entirely a bad idea to encounter these battles, because they're the only place where you can pick up continues. Just grab the eagle icons that the Jeeps and shield guys drop, and oh man, if it's your first time playing through this game, you will need them. You don't start with any, and the game doesn't offer many 1-ups. It's also really easy to die, especially early on. You start the game with no health bar, so one hit and you're dead. But the game allows you to upgrade your health bar when you collect enough bullets. No, the bullets aren't ammunition for your gun. They're for increasing your maximum health. Duh. If you're having a hard time staying alive, you can actually harvest bullets in the ladder section of the first level where the paratroopers magically drop through the ceiling. You can even check how many you need for the next health upgrade by pressing select and pausing the game. Oh, and if you ever get stuck in a level, just hit start, A and B at the same time, and you'll return to the map screen. The map consists of both neutral and combat stages. Neutral stages, represented by fuchsia areas on the map, are similar to civilian towns in other games. They offer information and equipment vital to completing the game. No, lad, the water's not for swimming. You clearly forgot your water wings anyways. Here you can converse with townfolk and even enemies. But keep in mind, acts of hostility are prohibited here, so firing your weapon will prompt a relentless response from the locals. Even though this asshole can charge you with a knife, if you shoot him, the neutrals will punish you for it. Ah, crap. Yeah, that's frowned upon. He had it coming. Hey, at least slaughtering the neutrals is good combat practice. As for the combat stages, each one varies in difficulty, and most will require you to find a radio room to communicate with your team to unlock the boss door. I won't go into much detail here, but I think it's kind of neat that you need to stay in contact with your fellow soldiers, and can intercept enemy communications for some optional intel. Be wary of wiretapping, though. Sometimes the enemy will send knifers and paratroopers that, again, can somehow magically pass through the ceiling. These rooms also act as a checkpoint, just in case you die, so it's never a bad idea to enter one when you have the chance. If all you get is ga-ga-ga out of the transmitter, you've got the wrong communicator for that area, and may need to return with the correct one if you need to unlock the boss room. Once you find and enter the boss room, indicated by an eagle icon over top of the doorway, you'll be greeted with a lovely message stating that you'll never destroy the system or make it out alive or some other jargon. Sometimes you fight a platoon of soldiers headed by this dickbag waving his magic wand at you, and other times you'll face an actual boss with a health meter. Some are tougher than others, but the main objective is always to destroy the mainframe at the opposite side of the room. Once it's destroyed, you've completed the level and are rewarded with bonus bullets and an item. And there you have it, the gameplay loop. With a plethora of levels, enemies, and equipment options, Bionic Commando offers a lot of variety. The level designer did a fantastic job of creating areas that scroll horizontally and vertically, as well as challenging platforming that requires precise and well-timed grapples, especially towards the end of the game. And since you can grapple in 5 different directions, swinging, retracting, and climbing around levels is oddly satisfying. One thing I should note, though, is once you start swinging and let go, you can't reposition yourself in mid-air. This isn't like more traditional platformers. Once you swing, you're committed, and will continue on that trajectory until the ground or your arm stops you. Enemies vary from your standard soldier, knife wielders, and bazooka troops, to spiders, man-eating plants, guys attached to the ceiling, dwarves operating heavy machinery, helicopter soldiers shooting force fields out of their dicks, and even Andre the Giant hucking spiky balls at you. There's also drone operators sitting on toilets. And these guys referred to as suicide bombers in the instruction booklet. Well, they got half the name right. Speaking of the instruction booklet, there are a number of mistakes in this thing. Yikes. Looks like I had fun with this as a kid. What did I do? Chew on it? Anyways, let's start with earned weapons. Sorry for the shit stain at the top of the page. Normal gun? Never heard of that model. You have it to start with. Thanks, Tips. It's really nothing special. It does the job early on. Wide gun, referred to as wide cannon in the game. You can shoot at wide range, but reach is shoot. Okay. I would argue it's the worst gun because its reach is really short. Although it's not terrible during overhead battles. Rocket gun, or rocket launcher in the game. It penetrates and destroys, enemies, you can shoot continuously. What does that even mean? You can only have one projectile on the screen at once, and you don't run out of ammo with any of these guns. So this description just doesn't make any sense to me. You actually get the rocket launcher after beating the 3rd stage, and it's undeniably the best gun in the game. Here you can see it kill this boss in one shot, and the computer in a few more. What a joke. If you want a challenge, I'd suggest using a different weapon. 3-way gun, or just 3-way as the game calls it, giggity, says, you can shoot in 3 ways it can break the shield. I mean, yeah, I guess if you call that a shield. Joe's machine gun. This is one of the optional guns Super Joe tells you to acquire in Area 18. For some reason, when you finally do find him, even though you're literally next to each other, you can't talk to him face to face. So I guess we'll just use this conveniently placed radio transmitter to talk Metal Gear style? He tells you exactly what you'd expect, but as a token of his gratitude, he'll give you his machine gun. The only catch is, you need to go to Area 18 and say yes to the proper guy to retrieve it. But then what weapon is Joe going to use? He infiltrates the enemy base later, so what's he gonna do? Ask the reactor to kindly blow itself up? Suppress the enemy with his ass gas? I wanna know! Maybe he's going to inject his balls with bath salts and go on a blood-fueled, fist-flying rampage through the enemy compound. Yeah, totally. Range 22.5 degrees. Don't you mean spread? I think they confused range with spread. You go through the trouble of grabbing his gun and equipping it and... what the fuck? This is a piece of shit! It's like the wide gun, but not as shitty. It's definitely not better than the rocket launcher, so that was a big waste of time. Why even bother putting it in the game? It's very underwhelming. How about this weapon? Flare bombs. Yeah, that's not a weapon, but nice try though. Here's another thing I thought was weird. You, the player, are an earned weapon, and it says here that you can shoot in 8 directions and... wave wires? What does that even mean? You can only shoot in 2 directions during side-scrolling areas, so it must be referring to the overhead sections of the game. Here you can shoot in 8 directions and wave your bionic arm around like a lasso to repel at soldiers and bullets. How about bonus characters? Yeah, those are items and equipment. And I'm not gonna lie, most of these things suck ass. You're best off using the medicine for most of the game. It fills your entire health bar once per life when you hit start. You get it from completing Area 1, and for some reason, it's called recovery pills in the game. Ugh, it looks more like a vial of puke. Iron boots? Crap. It says here, kick and kill enemies? Huh? When I was a kid, I had no idea what this meant. There's no kick button. Since writing this review, I've learned that it means you can kill enemies by swinging into them. Well, that's pretty useless. You don't do that very often, or at all. The permit is needed for 1 level, and after that, it's garbage. The magazine system, or rapid fire device as the game calls it, only applies to your normal gun by allowing it to fire fully automatic. But the game only allows 3 bullets on the screen at once with this upgrade, and you've already got the rocket launcher, so this is hardly worth equipping over the medicine. The charm repels 1 enemy bullet, so that's okay, I guess. The helmet will repel 3 bullets before you take damage, but it's located in one of the secret areas of the game. You actually need to travel from Area 17 to 14 to find it. Once again, your helicopter is inexplicably brought underground for another short overhead fight where you can find the helmet on the ground before the exit. The Bulletproof Vest is the best of these 3 protection items, stating in the book that it will repulse 1 out of 2 bullets, but you acquire it the level before beating the game, so again, it won't make much of a difference. It's just unfortunate that most of the items you collect are either used once or complete garbage. Well, that pretty much covers the bonus characters. Well, except for maybe the bullets. Appears when you defeat enemies. No kidding. Why not tell us what they do? They also show this boss, Wired Gunner. Who is that? It's not the giant soldier like some wikis allude to. Unless the instruction booklet is wrong, I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't exist in the game. Maybe he's supposed to be that robot boss that says PPP, but he looks nothing like it. Feel free to give me an answer to this riddle in the comments below. Let's just pause here for a second and admire the wonderful melodies that the audio composer came up with. The music in this game is seriously top-notch. It's something you expect from Capcom these days, but back in the late 80s, they were still new to the gaming scene. This game was released before the masterpiece that is Mega Man 2, and the songs on that game need no explanation. I've had some of these songs stuck in my head during my daily activities. That's how memorable they are. They really nailed it here. So anyways, As Lad, your mission is to rescue your comrade Super Joe and put a stop to Generalissimo Kilt's plan to complete the Imperial Force's ultimate weapon. What is the Imperial Force, you ask? Well, I guess they used to be the bads. Kinda like how in Star Wars the Empire used to be the Republic. But in the game manual they're referred to as the Naz. Which is it? Naz is awfully close to Nazi. And besides their fabulous fuchsia color scheme, their helmets look exactly like Germany's army did in World War II. Well, it turns out, it's absolutely no coincidence. Before Bionic Commando made its way to North America, it was known in Japan as Hitler's Resurrection Top Secret. There's not much of a difference between the two versions aside from a slight difficulty increase, Japanese text, swastika symbols instead of the eagles, and some other minor details. But the most notable difference is the fact that the Imperial Force is actually a neo-Nazi faction whose leader is trying to revive Hitler. No wonder Lad looks pissed all the time. The Imperials kidnapped his friend, he's jumping impaired, and Hitler is about as nice as someone who's had their cock and balls chopped off and fed to them. The messed up thing is, when you finally get to the chamber where Hitler is being revived, Kilt tells you he has no need to revive him anymore, and pulled the plug. He just came up with Grandma Hitler's super secret albatross recipe all by himself? Sure he did. But before you can say, "Look at the chesticles on that Nazi," Hitler bursts out of his liquid prison using force lightning. It's super effective. Mr. Kilt is vaporized and Hitler emerges with his plan for world domination with the side-to-side scrolling fury of the albatross. For the final boss fight in the game, it's pretty easy. Avoid the flames, grapple to the top, and shoot the piss out of that glowing orange. You'd think the giant cannon on the front would do something, but no, it's just for show. Much like the albatross itself. Oh well, that's a bummer. Once that's dealt with, it's time to prevent Hitler's escape, and witness the most graphic part of this game. You need to shoot the hyper bazooka, or rocket launcher replica, through the cockpit of Hitler's plane as you're falling. Mess it up, and you instantly die. But succeed, and you're treated to the most grotesque visual in the game. As Hitler contemplates why he didn't just leave 3 minutes earlier, the projectile pierces through the windshield and his head literally explodes. Seriously, how did this part avoid getting censored in the North American release? You can see his teeth and eyeballs blowing out of his skull. Wow! Gnarly! Good luck getting revived again, you prick. Immediately after that, you're told the base will explode in 60 seconds. Time to GTFO! Just grapple up and skip past this giant soldier to reach the exit at the top. But wait, where's Super Joe? Like a typical cheesy 80s action film, the fortress detonates with Lad and Joe emerging from the explosion unscathed, clinging to the escape chopper. Mission accomplished. RTB for retasking. There you have it. What you need to know about Bionic Commando on the NES. A gem in Capcom's infancy, and a stepping stone to even bigger and better games from this kick-ass developer. If you're a fan of retro platforming games, I highly recommend this one. And a pre-owned physical copy only costs around 20 bucks, so I'd say it's worth it. My name is Tyler, also known as Chronobus. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please click the like button and subscribe for more awesome content. I also stream on Twitch if you're interested in that garbage. Links in the description below. Until next time, take care and stay frosty.